Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone who rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect who firmly believe on Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Now, the title of this lesson is going to be Pruning Brings Forth Growth. Pruning brings forth growth. And pruning is actually what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai does, while we're in this faith. You see certain individuals who once had the faith, lose the faith. They start bugging out. They start being disobedient to parents. They start to become unbrotherly. They start to misuse the prophets. They tend to be self-willed. They're not willing to correct, certain behaviors and personality traits that they possess because ultimately they're worldly, So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai prunes, certain individuals from this truth. When you check out, the scriptures, it speaks upon how they'll turn their spears into pruning hooks and things of that nature because a pruning hook is a gardening instrument. Right, so let's get into the process of pruning. This is real quick, a quick Google search. It says pruning is an essential gardening skill. When you prune correctly, you encourage healthy growth and flowering in the case of flowering plants. Now we're all plants, pursuing the Psalms, the first chapter, right? It says, as well as good looks for most shrubs and trees. It helps to prune at the right time. It helps to prune at the right time. Some are best pruned in winter. Some right after flowering. When you check it out, the Passover, as far as the Passover, like a little before the Passover, leading up to the Passover, you see a lot of individuals get cut from the body. You see a lot of people falling out of this truth. And that's spiritual, because it says some are best pruned in the winter, some right after flowering, So here it is, a lot of times when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, cuts individuals from the body, it's during the winter time, and he continues to prune, into the springtime, Salakia, into the springtime, right? So that's spiritual in itself, and here's a quick picture, of the process of pruning, got, the pruning instrument and he's chopping it off, right? This is a before, that's a picture of an after, another image before pruning and after pruning, because essentially it's going to bring forth growth, See a quick video.
My grandfather owned an apple orchard in western Pennsylvania, and his philosophy of pruning trees was to cut it till you could throw a horse through it. Now, we're not going to recommend anything quite that severe. We'll show you some tips on why you need to prune your trees and when to prune them so they look better and stay healthier. Tree trimming, or pruning.
See, and that's what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai does. Because the purpose of the body is to keep it healthy. The purpose of the body is to keep it flourishing. That's why certain individuals have to be cut off.
Is more than just getting rid of dead limbs. It helps a tree grow new, healthy branches. There are basically two types of trees, deciduous and evergreen. Deciduous trees are the ones that lose their leaves every year, and evergreen trees, of course, are those that stay green year-round. We're going to talk about a few of the basics of trimming deciduous trees. Okay, now let's take a look at some reasons why pruning is important. First, of course, is safety. Hanging limbs can fall and cause damage or injury, so it's best to remove.
Hanging limbs can fall and cause injury, man. That's these unprofitable servants out here, man. Willful servants, being out of order. One who listens to an individual as such can cause injury. As far as what? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai bringing destruction upon you.
Them right away. It's a good idea to check your tree's health every season. Look for decayed and hollow areas on the trunk or main limb.
Hey, and what does Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai do? He searched Jerusalem with candles. and to see who's those who are settled upon their lease. You know? So what? The Lord checks upon brothers seasonal. That's why it's important to feed your channel. You know? Because that's a case and example of the Lord, checking certain brothers out when it comes to their diligence. You know?
As well as peeling bark on the trunk. Also keep an eye on the roots. Raised soil can mean an unsound root system and an unsafe tree. If you see any of these problems, call an arborist for help. Next is safety. Pruning is important for a tree's health. Damaged and diseased branches are just extra weight on a tree, and they should be removed. Then pay attention to branches that grow inward and those that cross, as crossing branches move in the wind and can be damaged by the friction and eventually break. Also look for two branches forming a V-crotch. One of these branches should be removed. If not, the bark will be forced to grow into.
Hey, and that's why it's important, to stay in your lane. Yes, you should dive into other gifts, and things of that nature, to be well seasoned, if you will, within his faith. But you got a lot of individuals that have bad intentions, intentions as Simon, because you may see a brother that's bad in the history. Now you want to get into the history in the form of competition, but not in the form of just bettering yourself as a man of the Lord. That you're a crossing branch, man. You're a crossing branch, and you're unprofitable because you have your own intentions. Not only that, you can cross brothers.